This is a video from Ratatoskr. Of course, you know, she's alive. You guys thought she died with Final Fantasy XIV. No, she didn't. She's very much alive. She's right here, you know. Does Elden Ring deserve its nomination? This is something of a controversial subject, I guess. And I'm really curious to hear what this guy or girl, I don't know, this is the first time I see his channel or her channel, has to say. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's see what, you know, this person has to share about this shit.
Hello and welcome, this is Ratatoskr.
Oh, it's a guy, or but
And today I want to talk about a little Elden Ring controversy that has cropped up. You see, Elden Ring has been nominated for Game of the Year.
In
fact, it's not just Game of the Year.
Good luck.
Elden Ring has been nominated for several awards in different categories.
Yes. Well deserved, by the way.
And one of those categories happens to be Best Narrative.
Of course, of course. How could it not be nominated for the best narrative? If you think about it, you have Miyazaki, who's a phenomenal writer, right? You have George R.R. Martin, who's a phenomenal writing. And the best way is that if you want to get this narrative, you need to actually nerd the fuck out of the game. Like, you need to play the game extensively and read the fucking items. Even go to YouTube, check out the lore videos from Smoughtown. S-M-O-U-G-H Town, if I recall correctly. Sorry for hitting the microphone. And this guy has amazing lore videos. Like, we're talking hours upon hours upon hours of content. This guy is phenomenal. This guy is super good. You should go and watch this guy if you want to know about lore video. He's amazing. He blows my fucking mind away, you know? So, yeah, I can tell. I can see why it has the best narrative.
And that's why this minor controversy has arisen.
What?
There's a lot of people that feel that Elden Ring doesn't deserve to win Best Narrative.
Why?
That, in fact, it doesn't even deserve to be nominated.
What?
Let me give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about.
Okay, hold up. Let's shut up. Let's find out.
What's
from
video game journalists, which I only mention because...
Ah! Video game journalists. Well, if you say it like that, sure. Because you know what journalists do, right? They harvest fucking clicks. How do they harvest fucking clicks? By saying something controversial. What is controversial? This shit is controversial, that it doesn't deserve to win. Now, fellas, gaming journalism died about... I wanna say 15 years ago. Yeah, because it's 22, it was before 2010 that he died, you know? So by 2010, gaming journalism was pretty much dead, you know? So, yeah, of course, this guy, I don't know if he's invoking on an authority or something, you know? But this is dog shit, like, dude, this is such a sad thing. You cannot use the journalists as an example or as authority in this fucking matter because gaming journalists, as I said, suck dick. People are confused when they don't have mandatory 20-minute both sections, like in God of War, when they can pedal and hear people talk, because any more gameplay will blow their mind. The thing is, it's people want it hand served. They want it served into the fucking dish in front of them, you know? These are not gamers. A real fucking gamer wants to play the game, he wants to learn the shit about the game. Let's see what the journalist said, though I guess it's gonna be some clickbaity shit.
Because it shows that this isn't a random viewpoint, it's a common opinion among certain circles with institutional authority.
Yes. The stupid-ass bitches agree with one another. Okay, let's keep going.
The Game Awards nominations are so bizarre this year. Saifu for Fighting Game, Neon White for Debut Indie,
I don't know these games.
Elden Ring for Narrative. Was everybody asleep?
Listen, Mr. Carli Veloci, okay? I am going to guess that this person is Italian. Veloci is, at least, you know, the surname is. Listen, my dear friend, lady, gentleman, whatever the fuck you are, you know? I don't know, Sifu, I don't know Neon White, but Elden Ring for narrative, absolutely. You have George R.R. fucking Martin, okay? And Miyazaki. George R.R. Martin took care of some of the writing. Miyazaki took care of the fucking narrative. If you read every like a single item in Elden Ring has more lore in it, Neon White sweep. Okay, the important part is that one single item in Elden Ring has probably more fucking lore than the entirety of, I don't know, Inject, whatever the fuck game you have right here. I don't see this, but you know, maybe I'm wrong.
Elden Ring for best narrative is truly a farce LMAO.
And finally, they go on to this one.
Lore is great. Do more lore.
It is.
Just don't subsist on a diet of lore when it comes to narrative. Narrative is everything that's used to tell stories.
Exactly.
And I find a narrative that just uses mountains of lore boring. Sorry. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So you have a lot of lore and I find that boring. Dude, can you imagine? Oi, bro. I didn't read Lord of the Rings, man. Fuck that. What do you mean it has like, it's a big ass book? What do you mean? I haven't watched the extended movies of the Elden Ring, no, sorry, not of the Elden Ring, of Lord of the Rings because it's like too much, right? She didn't play Dragon Age. I haven't played Dragon Age. That doesn't say a lot to me. I haven't even tried a single Dragon Age game. I tried the Inquisition a bit. I managed to stay logged in for 1 hour and then I logged out because the graphics were fucking dog shit, you know? But this doesn't mean shit. This is a stupid ass fucking argument. Harry Potter, you know, who is inferior to, you know, Tolkien from every single perspective. I hit the microphone again, I apologize, you know? It is, how many books is Harry Potter? 6, 7, you know? You would say that it is boring because it uses mountains of lore? The fucking guy, Tolkien, created the fucking world. He created the fucking the Mire spirits and all the fucking story about the Sauron, all the thing that predates that, the angels, all this fucking shit, you know? And what the flying testicle Tuesday is this shit? Back in 2010, I was learning Elven from fucking lore books and to understand shit in other lore books. Dude, this is preposterous.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, my peers in Elden Ring nerdship have already responded to these complaints. Lore Hunter, Ziostorm, and Zuli the Witch have all made their own videos trying to explain how
I don't know
Elden
these
Ring
guys.
delivers its narrative. And the things that they say are basically
Small
what you
Tone.
would expect. There is a story, it's told through environmental storytelling and item descriptions.
Yep.
The games are purposely ambiguous, you're supposed to go out and share your ideas with other players and
Precisely.
try and come up with a community conclusion.
Precisely. You want to speculate. You want to gather with the other nerds. You want to discuss about all this fucking shit, you know? You want to... This is the best part. This is the best part. This is what World of Warcraft used to do. Of course, I'm not comparing World of Warcraft writing back in the day to Elden Ring right now. I believe Elden Ring is phenomenal. It's way much better than World of Warcraft ever was. But this is what WoW used to do. You used to gather with the fucking bots and you were like, ah, you know what? This is what happened, this happened, this happened. And fuck the Horde. And the other guy was like, no, this happened, this happened, this happened. Fuck the Alliance. And the other guy was always, you know, like, no, this happened, this happened. Fuck the Legion. Fuck the fucking, fuck Gul'dan, you know? Fuck all these fucking people, you know? And you got to fucking argue, you got to debate, you got to accept one another, you got to fucking, amazing fucking content and all this shit, you know? So this is what you want to do with the fucking writing. What the fuck is this shit?
And all of those things are true, they're very true.
So he didn't hide
But
the
in the
lore,
spirit
he
of
did
being
lore
fair
dumps.
to people that don't like Elden Ring's story, I'm going to assume that they already know all that.
You say that Tolkien first created a world that could upkeep any story he would like to tell. I think that Elden Ring is exactly that. A world that the story is going to be like to tell afterwards. What I'm not what I'm speculating. I'm not speculating. I haven't played Dark Souls fucking game. But what I've read, okay, is from Dark Souls fucking nerds, okay, nerds with capital N. You know, they speculate that the canon ending for Elden Ring is the Frenzied Flame, and after the Frenzied Flame and all the fuck show that happened, we get the Dark Souls game lore. They say that somehow they're linked. I cannot give you more information about this because I know jack shit. Because I haven't played a single Dark Souls game other than, you know, my very first Soulsborne, which was Elden Ring, you know? It is very frustrating to hear people, you don't understand the story. Yeah, you just don't. Yeah, like, no, I get it. No, you don't. It's clear. I just don't think stories that go heavy on proper nouns created for insular world being are super interesting. What? What does this guy mean with proper nouns? Maybe someone explains it in the video.
And that what they're really talking about when they're criticizing Elden Ring's story is the plot. And if that's the case, then I think I see where they're coming from. And so for a moment, let me try and explain what I think is the general objection to the plots of Elden Ring and Souls games.
Okay.
If you ask 5 lore nerds what the plot of Elden Ring is, it's possible that you'll get 5 different answers.
Yes.
If you ask them what the point of the game is, you might get 5 more. And at least one of them might say that it doesn't matter what the actual point is or what the actual plot is.
It's how you
get
there.
The real point is interpreting the story, and that's the only point.
Yes.
Which reflects badly on the fans if that's the attitude they're going to take. Because saying that the game is nothing but interpretation is just another way of saying that there's no real meaning. It lends credence to the idea, this very long-standing criticism that Souls games have had, that the story is nothing but glorified fanfiction. That's the general objection number 1.
Hold up though, because here's the thing. It always matters about the interpretation. It's not about the end goal. Oh, by the way, my kitten is here. Look at him. He's so super soft. Mwah. Okay. So, it's always about how you interpret a story. You can, I don't know, what kind of example do I want to give? Like, you cannot have a good guy and a bad guy objectively. Like, there is always going to be someone that identifies with what I would say a bad guy as a good guy, and someone that identifies the good guy that I think is a good guy as the bad guy. It's subjective. The fucking, the amount of speculation that you can do in the Elden Ring, because it does not handhold you. It gives you the basic idea, and you can just navigate around it, right? But the core of the game is fundamental. Like, you cannot say that you don't know what the Star Scourge Radahn did, because you know, it is told by the fucking story what he did. Now, how he did it, how this impacted X, Y, or Z, maybe you can interpret it, you know? You know for a fact that Malenia is the goddess of, not the goddess of rot, you know? So it's not the Eldritch goddess of rot, but she was afflicted by this rot. Now, the speculation is that this happened by the Eldritch goddess of rot, who is like, if you guys know Mog, for example, you know that the Eldritch goddess, the Formless Mother, the Eldritch goddess of blood, what did I say? The Eldritch goddess of blood infused him with her own blood. She lets him, fucking, you know, pierce him. Like, every single time a Mog casts an ability, he pretty much stabs the fucking blood of the Formless Mother, and because of that, he can create bleeding to the other people. His fire has this fucking bleeding effect, and he creates fire and all this shit, you know? So this is kind of a speculation, but not really, because the game tells you about Mog's story when he was found with the Omen Curse, and he was banished in the fucking catacombs down underneath fucking Leyndell, and all this shit, right? So, the game gives you amazing narrative, but the only reason I know this fucking narrative is because I watched the video on YouTube. No. Okay, what I meant to say is that the reason how I know this narrative is because I saw the fucking items. It describes that in the fucking Blood Flame, in the ability. It describes that in the fucking weapon of Mog. It describes that in the armor of Mog. It describes that in the talisman of Mog. You get X, Y, Z, and you slowly, like, you get an A, you get a B, you get a C. Now, if you take the A, the B, the C, the D, the whatever the fuck by itself, it's just a fucking letter. It tells nothing, you know? But the moment you start putting them next to one another, you get A, B, C, D. You get the entire alphabet, right? What Elden Ring does, and where I believe it's phenomenal, and why I think it should win the fucking narrative, is that it gives you a fucking narrative. It gives you all the letters, and you just have to do the simple thing of, you know what? Let me just play mix and match, you know? Let's start combining, you know? It's like a canva. An empty canva, you have all the paint, and they tell you build a house. Now, you know that you're gonna build a house. What you don't know is how the house is going to look. Because, like, every single person views houses differently. For example, the house that I would paint would be different than the house that Bodrick would paint, would be different than the house that the Bean guy would paint, and so on and so forth, right? So, what I'm saying here, and I don't want to, you know, overgeneralize that much and talk about this too extensively, because we're already talking about this very extensively, is that it is not the case. It's not a glorified fan fiction. As a matter of fact, it tells you the basic thing that is, you know what? You have a brain in here. Use it.
I don't agree with
That's
it,
what
but
I
I'm not
believe.
going to spend this video talking about it very much. I've already made a video on that topic before.
Okay.
And those objections are also addressed by the recent videos of Lore Hunter, Zuli the Witch, and Ziostorm.
I don't know these guys.
Specifically, Lore Hunters I liked the most, if you wanted my opinion. The second objection, which I find more interesting, and which is explicitly said in the tweets that I showed you, is that Elden Ring delivers the bulk of its narrative through the lore.
Lore is great, do more lore. Oh yeah, we've already read this thing.
And that delivering the bulk of that narrative through lore is not an example of good storytelling. That it's boring, and it doesn't deserve the nomination it received. This argument is interesting, because they cede ground here. They admit that Elden Ring does have a narrative, and she even says that narrative is everything that's used to tell the story.
Yes.
Which I actually think is absolutely correct, and something that not everyone understands. But where I think she's wrong, where I think they're wrong, is that lore isn't the only way Souls games tell their story. And it might not even be the most important or primary way in which the story gets told.
for me, the Elden Ring told its story via the items. It's not just about the lore, even the gameplay, even the combat tells you about the story, you know? When Malenia flies up in the air, you know, she gets the second phase and then she comes down with, you know, the Flower of Aeonia, right? And she creates the Kshbluchten, you know? The Scarlet encounter is being told to you via encounters, you know, like you get it, you know that you're fucking going to die, then you meet Millicent in the, she solidifies your claims that this is a very, very dangerous disease indeed. She says that I am rotting from within, get away from this place, it's super dangerous, you know, in Khalid. And when you fight Malenia, even if you were a lore noob and you hadn't read a single shit about the lore, you realize how dangerous and how important this thing is. I don't know, dude, like, there are things that you just get from combat. Star Scourge Radahn, you don't have to... You can see a tiny horse in the combat, in the fights, you know? Even if you don't know lore. You see a guy that's fucking gigantic and a tiny small horse. And when I was on the stream, I laughed my ass off at that, you know? And after Dawn, one of my MVPs, he was like... Actually, I'm gonna be honest, my Elden Ring MVP... He said, why are you laughing? I'm like, why do you not see that? That the guy is fucking massive and he has a tiny small horse. And he told me, like, why do you think that's the case, dude? Why do you think that's the fucking case? The guy literally learned fucking gravity magic so that he doesn't squish the fucking horse. So he weighs nothing on the back of his horse. That's why he's super agile, he's super fast. The encounter itself tells you the lore. It shows you, you know? And you have the guy, before the encounter even starts, who tells you about who Radahn pretty much was and what he has become. You learn more about Malenia. You hear, if you read the fucking Talisman of the Blind Swordsman, you know that, you don't know, but you speculate that he trained her, right? And her ability, Waterfall Dance, hints at the fucking way that the Blind Swordsman was fighting. For example, he would separate the two things from stagnant water, and I don't remember the other name of the water, but stagnant water is the bad water, it gives birth to Scarlet Rot, it is the one of decay, and then you have the, I don't know, let's call it the running water, okay? The normal fucking water, which is life, which is the aspect of life. And Malenia, Waterfall Dance is a flowing attack. Okay, now many people have died in it, but it's a fucking flowing attack, a fucking smooth attack, you know? I don't see that. Like, you can see that you can learn about the lore just by playing the fucking game. Godric the Grafted, you notice firsthand how fucking gruesome he is when he just fucking cuts his own hand and sticks it in the fucking dragon, and now he has a dragon hand, right? And Morgoth, you learn about his story. Even if you know jack shit about his story, when you get phase 2, when he bleeds, you know, his omen blood taints the ground, he's like, look what you fucking did, you fucking piece of shit. My blood is not worthy. I'm not worthy to bleed in a place like this. He still has his ideals about the Golden Order, you know? Just the story itself, you know? The guy, what's his name? Mog in the fucking in his encounter, not Mog the Omen, you know, in the catacombs, but Mog in the fucking in the Mogwin Dynasty fucking palace, when he's like, dearest Mikela, you must abide alone for a while. This guy's the best villain I've had in fucking open world RPGs since ever. I love this guy. I looked at this guy with awe, with almost worship, you know? Amazing. I don't want to get into the music and the voice acting because I digress, right? But the Lord, he told you his opinion, what he wants to do, and you can see him stabbing the fucking the formless mother, you know, when he's like unus, right? Nihil, sorry, how was it? Unus, dos, tres, and he's like nihil, 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 right? Nihil is nothing in Latin, of course, right? And every single time he does that, he stabs the formless mother and he slams the shit down. He stabs the formless mother, he stabs the shit down, he smacks the shit down, you know? And you get your blood, unless you have, you know, I don't want to explain the fight too much, but it is amazing. You get to learn about the lore through the encounter itself. And if you know more, you understand it even better. And that's, I believe, one of the best shit that you can do.
One of the reasons I love Souls games is because
Look
in
at this.
Souls games,
The ready-made fucking
gameplay
castle.
is the story.
Yes.
Souls games do a good job of connecting.
See, like, this guy knows his shit. This guy is totally correct. What did I say? What did I fucking say? I have not pre-watched it, by the way. I've never pre-watched a single video that I have reacted to. Never, 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 and I will never will, okay? But this thing, this guy gets it. True. He's correct.
Exploration,
big brain, smart guy.
In such a way that each is improved by the presence of the other.
Yep.
One of the clearest ways they do this is in how story elements are revealed or emphasized through boss battles.
Right card, yep.
Let me give you an example. In Bloodborne's main game, you hear about Ludwig, first hunter of the Healing Church.
Wait, Ludwig? Is Ludwig the streamer? A boss in Bloodborne? I did not know that. Is Morgul gaming as well? Huh, interesting. I haven't played Bloodborne, by the way.
Fairly early on. There's not much information given to you, but what little you do have suggests he was a holy warrior, descended from a line that valued honor and chivalry.
Spoiler
alert. In the
alert.
DLC, you finally get to meet him, and he has transformed into the most hideous of beasts.
Whoa.
His body is asymmetrical chaos.
Yeah.
His lower body consists of several thin legs, ending in hooves or talons, with at least one of them flailing uselessly in the air.
Yeah.
His upper body has 2 elongated arms, one of which he uses to support his misshapen body.
What he's trying to say is that this guy went from this holy fucking shit to this, whatever the fuck this thing is, you know.
Between his arms, above his horse head, protrudes a gaping circular mouth, which enfolds a cluster of eyes. In combat, Ludwig shambles. He lunges, he charges relentlessly. The boss fight is a nightmare filled with screams. He is an unspeakable, horrifying beast.
Yeah, we get
what
the
was
point.
once the leader of the church hunters has become completely degraded.
Yes.
Becoming the worst example of what he was supposed to eradicate.
Yep. He became an eldritch, whatever the fuck this thing is.
And then, the second phase happens. At his lowest point, Ludwig finds his guiding moonlight and reclaims a piece of his nobility.
Yo, that's a phase.
He grips the holy moonlight sword in both hands, and then combat begins
Moonlight
again.
sword, nice.
Now, however, his posture has changed. He stands upright. His screeching has been replaced with the grunts of a human. He wields his weapon with skill and deliberate intent.
Damn.
It viscerally contrasts what this boss fight was like even moments before.
Holy
Even
shit.
his boss name changes from Ludwig the Accursed to Ludwig the Holy Blade.
Oh no, spoilers. It's okay, doesn't matter.
It's an absolutely exhilarating moment. The music in the second phase is some of the best
Boss your lord like Emmet.
perfectly complementing Ludwig's new moveset. One of the reasons the music works so well
Backstab him, backstab him, you fucking idiot, backstab him.
Transitional cutscene.
Oh, come on.
The game seems to be trying to get the opening to play during Ludwig's monologue, and the crescendo right after the player gets control of the character. Which I have to admit,
the music is phenomenal, I can hear it in the background.
Excited, even though I've seen that cutscene at least a dozen times.
He fades away because he died.
This isn't something that From Software just does in boss fights.
Backstab works different in Bloodborne. I did not know that. Is this how Bloodborne looks? Because these graphics look really, really bad to me. I'm probably gonna wait for the remake to play Bloodborne. I will play Bloodborne, I promise you guys, okay? Yes, okay. I will wait for the fucking revamp, the remaster to play Bloodborne, but I'm really excited about it. I want to play it. I want to play Bloodborne.
They do it
in
all
4K.
The time. In Bloodborne, you can be killed by a special enemy and get kidnapped.
Oh.
When you wake, you'll find yourself in a jail.
Okay.
There is no lantern.
Okay, in Elden Ring you can do that too. In the fucking academy, right? You can get kidnapped and yoinked by the fucking whatever the fuck is her name. The fucking maiden.
Dream. And dying in this area won't take you to a lantern. It will simply put you back in the jail.
Bloodborne looks
the
really
area
good,
that you're in
but
is
obviously
large
Elden
and
Ring
ominous.
looks better. Of course.
Cryptic
I mean,
notes lie in the ground.
how old is
hence the feeling
Bloodborne?
that you are somewhere that you should not be. And most disquieting of all is that you hear the sound of chanting.
Oh.
That's really the worst part. Because Bloodborne generally has no music in the normal environment. In fact, Souls games generally have no music in the normal environments.
Oh, wait, what?
Music
really?
is usually reserved for boss battles or
Elden
hub
Ring
areas,
does though.
which makes
Oh,
this
2000. Yeah,
chanting
of course you cannot compare the graphics from 2015 to graphics that came out in 2000. What's his name? 2022. I apologize for this sneeze. You say PS4 exclusive. That's good. I have a PS4 Pro. That's good. I don't care. Like it fits me. I know that wait, aren't most Dark Souls games PS4 exclusive, or is it only Bloodborne? Is it the only game that Sony still has a fucking monopoly over?
particularly unnerving. What is it? What's it supposed to be? Was it cultists performing in a ritual? Were we in a giant boss room and just didn't know it
Only
yet?
Demon's Souls and Bloodborne. Got it.
Were they calling out to the Great Ones? And was the second voice the Great One's answer?
Fun fact, Sony had this opportunity. I think I've said this before in my stream. Sony had the opportunity to have the monopoly of the fucking the entire Demon Souls and Dark Souls genre. But after the Demon Souls, when Miyazaki came with Dark Souls, they did not find it super duper beneficial. They could have been the fucking they could have the entire Souls franchise to them, but they did not say they thought that it would not sell that much. But Bandai Namco did. So Bandai Namco became the publisher, and I don't know what the fuck Sony is right now, you know? They could have had it entirely, dude. Sony is losing exclusive left and right. Era of them is finished. They're stupid. They really are stupid. I don't think that the era of Sony is finished. I think Sony has a monopoly on the best Android televisions. Sony has a monopoly on the home cinema systems. Sony has almost a monopoly when it comes to cameras. Sony has a fucking monopoly when it comes to consoles. Like, can you compare the fucking Xbox and Sony? Xbox does have a step up because of the Game Pass, right? But I don't think so. I think that Sony still has better exclusives, dude. Exclusives actually just need to stop. They do. For us, for the customer, we don't want exclusives. But if I were the CEO of Sony, if I were the CEO of Nintendo, I would tell you, Billy, fuck you, suck on my dick, because I want money. And the best way to make sure that you get money is to have an exclusive. Do you think Nintendo or the Pokemon company would ever just stop associating with Nintendo and release Pokemon with the other fucking consoles? They won't. They won't, because they want that every single nerd that's gonna play fucking Zelda, they know for a fact that they're gonna play from Nintendo. They know that everyone that's gonna play fucking Pokemon or Mario Bros or Mario Smash or whatever the fuck, you know, they're gonna do so from Nintendo. They're not gonna give it away. Sony's not gonna give it away. Nintendo is definitely not gonna give it away. If you guys wanna know about some cynical pricks, who I respect, are Nintendo. Now, why do I respect them? Because I believe that even though Nintendo is not phenomenal when it comes to whatever the fuck they're doing, they always have innovation. The last example being the Switch. I don't think that we've had a fucking console that could change, like, you know, from handheld to fucking you know, in the car, in the fucking TV and so on and so forth. Of course, it is inferior to the other consoles in my opinion, but it is very, very innovative.
That moment was great.
Sony lost TV fight to LG. I don't think so.
Feel out of place
this is actually not true. Like, LG does not have such good Android-powered monitors or screens when it comes to LG.
Unnerved. You were supposed to be trembling in awe, trepidation, and curiosity. They nailed the atmosphere. And part of the reason it was so good was because it was supported by the gameplay. Okay. The area is trying to be oppressive and inhospitable, to feel like you really shouldn't be there. To reflect this, the enemies in the area are unusually hard. It's possible to end up in the Hypogean jail at a very early level, which means many people will lose most of their HP every hit. That's if they don't die outright.
So, like with the maidens and the kidnapping that can take place in the fucking academy, got it.
You can't just leave, you have to explore. Dying returns
I haven't
you to
fought
the
these
jail
guys.
area, which means
though they do remind me of the Elden Ring fucking mobs.
Trapped in this place until you can navigate your way out. The situation creates an atmosphere, and that atmosphere is a story. My favorite example of what I'm trying to convey to you is the final boss of Dark Souls 3.
Oh, is this the final boss?
You go in, and he seems to be just a regular knight enemy.
Of course.
But throughout the fight, you notice that he moves in a way that's reminiscent to how players move.
Okay.
As the battle drags on, he starts shifting form. He starts changing builds.
Final boss, yeah, okay, good.
He'll become a Dex Pyromancer with a curved sword. Or he'll shift into a lance-wielding paladin.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or a pure mage casting high-level spells. And sometimes he'll mix and match things.
Oh, that attack did a lot of damage.
Use power within on himself.
Yo!
And then switch to the mage to take advantage of the damage buff while in a different form.
I see after done.
Or he'll cast Homing Crystal Soul Mass on himself, then shift to the lance build to get into melee range while still putting pressure on you with the Homing Soul Mass.
This sidestep was nice.
If you're fortunate, just from fighting this thing, you'll realize what it is. You'll realize what it's supposed to be.
You?
It's you.
Yeah.
It's everybody.
You.
It's you in Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 when you chose to link the fire. It's everyone that has ever chosen to link the fire.
What is the fire? Yeah, of course. I don't get the references about thinking the fire because I haven't played a single Dark Souls game, a single Demon Souls game, a single Soulsborne... No, actually, no. I have played one single Soulsborne game, Elden Ring.
Get his HP down to 0. He form shifts one more time.
Uh-huh.
The music also changes in the background. Mixed into the song, you now hear... And with that sound, you know you face the first iteration of the fire linking cycle. Gwyn, the First Lord, with a moveset that brings to mind his original form.
Huh.
You realize that you're fighting a deific manifestation of all that came before. For me, this was a truly emotional moment. I got it the first time I went in there. I knew what I was facing, and it hit me in my heart. I get emotional just talking about it now. I think I lost a few times just from how much it affected me. The point I'm making is that in these situations, information is being transmitted to the player.
Via the
bestial
gameplay.
Madness of Ludwig's first phase,
yes,
and the quiet nobility of the second are both partially conveyed through Ludwig's body language.
You can see that in Elden Ring with Rykard, right? When you go there, you see the fucking the fucking snake, right? The massive snake, and you're like, what the fuck is this piece of shit? You know, why am I here? I thought that the Rykard, the Praetor, the Lord, what the fuck is this guy? And then phase 2 hits, you're like, gets a fucking sword, you know, and you see the face, and you're like, holy shit, you know. Like, I was shocked the first time I fought Rykard and I saw the fucking lore, I saw the fucking encounter, I was like, holy fucking crap, man, what the fuck is happening here, you know? It was amazing, it was phenomenal, right? And suddenly everything starts to click, you know? With his daughter, I don't remember her name, was it Rona, whatever the fuck it was, you know, the blonde lady that turns out is a fucking snake and she's always hunched over. The wholesome lady, the one I fucking loved, you know? And you then, well, after you beat him, you find his wife, who is a fucking insane cunt, you know, trying to eat his fucking body in order to be one with him and give him birth and whatever the fuck, you know, and they come back together, you know, and you can murder her, and if you murder her, you get the fucking sentinel, what's his name, the Crucible Knight, who just fucking attacks you now. He invades you, he wants to kill you, he wants to fuck your shit, you know, and then you kill this guy. All this fucking story is phenomenal, man.
Just the way he moves conveys story-enhancing information. Yes. In fact, it's the main way that information is transmitted at all.
Even with Radahn, if you think about it, right? You hear the name Starscourge, what is Starscourge? What does this have to do? He just does some arcane magic shit, from what you can say, some pew-pew shit, right? And some gravity shit. And then phase 2 fucking starts, and he's like, bye! We're like, oi, I thought I was gonna kill the boss. And then you realize that you probably have to kill the boss, and you're in danger. I mean, I was one of the guys that died the first time I faced fucking Radahn in phase 2, because he did a fucking you know, and I died in the you know, of course. And I don't know, dude, like, I think this is, you even see that in Malenia, how she starts as a normal fucking swordsman, or swordswoman in this case, and then when phase 2 fucking hits, she's like, wait, like, uh-oh, she gets up and she's like, you will witness true horror, you know. And you fucking witness true horror, you know? Of course, you can stagger the living fuck out of her, though I don't really want to fucking, you know, delve into the battle too extensively. What I want to point out here is that Elden Ring does this thing very, very correctly, very, very well.
Games. The story and the gameplay are interconnected.
I don't know why he feels the need to give those examples via, Bloodborne instead of Elden Ring, because Elden Ring does have these examples.
They enhance one another, and together create this one moment. Ludwig's second phase boss transition. Ask anybody what their favorite moment or boss is in Bloodborne, and a huge number will tell you that this is the one, the one I just described. I agree with the initial statement that critic said. Everything that's used to elaborate on the story is a narrative. And Souls games elaborate on their narrative with moments, impactful moments. And those moments are reinforced through gameplay, atmosphere, and themes. Now, of course, Souls games aren't the only ones that try to do this. Ideally,
you can create many different narratives. So Elden Ring has like 6 endings, right? You can take the Rani ending, and you can go with the narrative that I'm going to change the world, I'm going to bring the Endless Night. The important part of what I'm trying to say is that you have the Rani ending, right? You have the fucking, what's his name? You can go with, what was the guy? Downgater, right? You can go with the Icarus Everybody ending. You can go with all of these fucking endings. You can create your own narrative. But here's what I think. Every single narrative that you create is beautiful. Like, in a sense, you create the narrative, yes, but the guidelines which direct you to every single narrative are magnificent by themselves.
Every game wants their disparate elements to synergize with one another. But Souls games, I think, are uniquely successful at it. People become obsessed with Souls lore in a way they simply don't for other games.
Yes.
I think that's because other games have options.
There you go. How amazing was this shit?
Or setting the right tone.
This place.
They can make heavy use of cutscenes or character dialogue. But Souls games don't have very many cutscenes or character dialogue. They do have item descriptions. But while item descriptions are a good way to deliver lore,
yes,
the critic is right. They're not a good way to transmit story elements that are supposed to elicit an emotional response.
I'm not sure about this, because even though I want to say Elden Ring had relatively... Did it? I don't think it did, because, like, here's the thing. If you give too many cinematics, you take away from the gameplay. If you take away from the gameplay, you're watching a movie. You're not playing a game. Like, in my opinion, that's like a criticism I could give to Final Fantasy XIV. Technically, it's not a game. Technically, it is a movie, you know? A movie that you just play in first person. Like, you are the protagonist of that movie, right? Whereas in fucking Elden Ring, you are not the protagonist of the fucking movie. The world is the protagonist of the fucking movie. And they just give you the narrative. They just give you, you know, you have to move within this fucking room, you know, and how you do is up to you. So every single cinematic feels impactful. Like this one, the fight between Radahn and Malenia, right? And the fight that ended in a stalemate and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't want to give all the fucking details into this thing. The important part is that every single cutscene is impactful. Every single item description is impactful. Okay, not every single one. Some of them are, you know, just fucking useless. But everything, if you have to combine them to create the narrative. And I think that's what makes the Elden Ring writing phenomenal. That you have to get into this fucking extra effort to make this beautiful.
Dark Souls and Elden Ring smuggle in their stories through the only other avenues they have available. Namely, the gameplay and environmental storytelling.
Yes.
And those, like I've tried to explain so far, do a great job, a fantastic job, of transmitting these moments, of eliciting in the players a specific experience.
Okay,
and by my estimation, these moments, this information transmitted, they are stories. They are narrative. But are they plot? Well, I don't know. It depends on what you consider a plot. I feel like much of this
argument is when she corrupts him with her blood.
It's people wanting to categorize things in a certain way and keep things separate and in different boxes.
The Flower of Ionia.
At the very least, I feel Elden Ring deserves its nomination.
This was the moment that's fucking General Radahn was fucked. The Flower of Ionia, the cursed blood, the Scarlet Rot entering him, destroying him, rotting him from within, you know? Like, how can you not... This fucking cinematic gives you more lore about the game than the fucking game itself, man.
Storytelling like this, that is complex and fragmented.
In the end, we boil down to this, what I've said in the past. What did I say in the past? I said that in order for a game to be inclusive, it needs to exclude a group of people. What does Elden Ring do? People that love those types of games adore Elden Ring, and people that don't like these types of games, they hate Elden Ring, you know? They hate having to think, they hate the open worldness, they hate the sandboxy style, they hate all this shit. But people that love these things, they lose their shit, okay? Elden Ring is a make or break game. You either love it or you hate it. There is no in between. It cannot be an indifferent game to you. It will never be an indifferent game to you. Because you either fucking love it, you love the difficulty, you love the narration, you love the storytelling, you love the fucking music, you love whatever the fuck it has, or you just can't play it. Which is good, In order for a game to appeal to a group of people, it needs to not appeal to another group of people.
Has never gotten the recognition I feel it deserves. I think it's a good thing that Elden Ring has been nominated despite the weirdness of how it structures its narrative.
Ronnie,
because that means that the broader population, the broader industry, is beginning to recognize that this is a legitimate way to tell a story.
Yep.
A valuable way to tell a story that's just as valid as any other. And that is the end of this video. Please unsubscribe and unclick the bell notification. If you're a Horizon or God of War fan, please leave some aggressive comments in the comment section.
Yeah.
If you want some advice as to what those comments should be, I would recommend insulting the intelligence of Souls players.
Yeah.
Tell them that they're just pretending to understand the story.
This mimic is super good, man.
And as for the Elden Ring fans, I would recommend retaliating by saying that the storytelling in God of War and Horizon is formulaic and old-fashioned. Please
I'm not gonna
create an
comment on this
environment
shit.
so toxic that Miyazaki wants to put it in his next game. And if I haven't alienated you or inspired you to do any of that, then I'm sure I'll get to you in a future video. As always, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much for creating this lovely, lovely video, Ratatoskr. It's good to have you in Elden Ring as well, other than the fucking, Final Fantasy XIV, obviously. Though I do not see the correlation between your name and your avatar, like Ratatoskr is supposed to be a fucking dragon. This was a phenomenal video. I like this guy's point of view, to be honest. I agree with a lot of things of what he says, if not the entirety of it. I don't really like the position and the thesis of the... What was her name? The critic, Velucci, whatever the fuck her name was, right? Because I honestly don't think that she understood the game and the concept of this game and the concept of these types of games. You need to have a streamlined linear story for some games, like God of War, like Horizon Zero Dawn, who, I'll be honest, Horizon Zero Dawn is not quite streamlined. Like, if you guys have played Horizon Zero Dawn, you know that the fucking story leaves you with some questions, and pretty much, it is a cliffhanger for Horizon Forbidden West, okay? Anywho, the important part is you need linear games, and you also need open world games. You need to have two different playstyles, because like some people love to speculate, and some people love to have it served in their fucking plate. Final Fantasy XIV, it does a phenomenal job in writing, but it is linear, it's streamlined, it gives you you cannot change the ending. Star Wars The Old Republic, on the other hand, you can change and you can greatly affect what happens to you. Like, spoiler alert, for Inquisition, Sith Inquisitor, god damn it, in fucking, what was the game? Again, Star Wars The Old Republic, you can become Darth Nox, which is the canon, you can become Darth Imperius, was it, if I recall correctly? Or Darth Lux, or whatever the fuck it was, you know, you get 3 different fucking titles. It's been ages, guys, it's been ages, I don't remember the names exactly, you know? The important part is that you can affect the story. You can affect how it ended. You are the guy. You fucking change this shit, you know? And the same thing happens in Elden Ring. You can decide which ending you'll do. Even with fucking Melina, like, Melina dies in every single ending except for one. And you can save her, and then you can do you can do a lot of shit. I'm not going to mention all the things you can do in Elden Ring. Honestly, go play the fucking game. If you don't have the fucking game, go buy the fucking game and play the fucking game. If you cannot afford it, you can actually experience the game by going on YouTube and watching some Let's Play. You can go out there and learn about the lore from Smalltown, as I said before. I'm gonna link the video in the chat because it is a video that I really, really enjoyed. I think the controversy is from people that are trying to harvest clicks. I think we're getting lack of gamers in nowadays. Here's the problem, okay? Let's talk about the newer generations, and I'm going to sound like a fucking boomer here, but it is imperative that I say this part before I end this part of the stream and, you know, hi YouTube and all this shit, right? Many of the newer generations were born with DLCs being canon. Say that you were born in 2004, which, if I were a professor, it was possible that I had students that were born in 2004, okay? If you're born in 2004, DLCs, cosmetic shit, and all these things are the canon for you. You are nurtured. You are expecting these things in the game. Asmongold, one of the most phenomenal content creators I've known in my fucking life, he said that in the future you will get more of these exclusive deals, you will get more of game passes, more of this shit, you know? Why? Because you don't have to cater to me. I'm a dying breed, you're a dying breed. It's likely that if you are in this community, you're, like, I've seen the fucking analytics from the YouTube, you're older than 25 years old, okay? Most of you guys are older than 25 years old, okay? We're a dying breed. They want to manipulate, they want to get and appeal to the new guys, and the new guys are nurtured by the DLC so they can milk them for the money, blah, 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 right? What I'm trying to get from this is that gaming is evolving, and gaming is, I want to say, devolving, actually, because it's no longer about the gaming part, it's no longer about the game itself, it's about appealing to a massive audience and, you know, milking them of all the fucking money. Check out Activision and Blizzard, what it is now, what it was back then. Check out EA, what it is now, what it was back then. Check out Square Enix, what it is now, what it was back when it was Squaresoft, okay? This is what's happening. Now, this fucking Zoomer, journalists or whatever the fuck, you know, I don't think they get it. I don't think they've been around when the gaming industry was golden, when the gaming industry was the best, when saying that you are a fucking gamer, this is what you meant. Sometimes you didn't even finish the game. You were not good enough. You were not good enough. I haven't finished, which game I haven't finished? Alex Kidd in Sega. I haven't finished Sonic in Sega. I didn't really care that much, but I haven't finished those games. Are there any other games that I haven't finished? I don't remember, but there are probably a lot of games that I haven't finished. You know? It's not bad. Sometimes you just don't get the game. That's not bad. But don't go out and tell me that it doesn't deserve to be nominated for Best Narrative. The game is so good, it created 6 different narratives for you to follow. Who do you want to create the epitome of Golden Order? Do you want to say burn it and burn everything? Do you want to corrupt everybody? Do you want to create the fucking death fucking arc? Do you want to go with your waifu? What ending do you want to do? Do you want to, to go fuck Marika and go with a fucking normal ending and shit? This game, and this is my biased subjective opinion, I believe that this game brought a revolution. I believe that this game is going to be not the game of the year, but the game of the decade. I truly believe that it is going to affect a lot of gamers and a lot of game designers in the indie game category, and we will see different types of games coming out. Let's not forget that Soulsborne is a genre created by the Dark Souls, the Demon Souls styles, the fucking Miyazaki, the god, that Miyazaki is. So without delving into this thing for too long, I want to say that most other games, God of War, it is a game that I played up to God of War 3, I did not really play God of War 4, I did not play Ragnarok, but I believe it is a game that will be long lost and forgotten. Horizon Zero Dawn, maybe it will not be that long lost and forgotten, and why do I say this? Is all speculation, these are my opinions, if you disagree, just type it in the comments down below, just tell me, But I believe that Horizon Zero Dawn will not be that easily forgotten, for the sole reason that it is a futuristic game. I don't think that we ever had this fucking, a post-apocalyptic game and survival game in a sense, but with machinery and all this shit. I thought that it would not appeal to me, because I don't really like the concept of fighting machines. I love medieval fucking games. Turns out I was wrong. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't think it will be forgotten. I think it will also have a new sort of era and shit, but I believe that Elden Ring will create, or already has affected the minds of individuals, of phenomenal fucking thinkers that are going to create the new types of games. And I'm looking forward to the next, Dark Souls game. I am looking forward to the DLC of the Elden Ring. I want to see how many endings we get there. I believe we're gonna get to, get to see more of Mikela. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. YouTube, haha. And for the rest of you guys, let's keep going. So we're gonna stop this thing right here. We're gonna close this tab. And I don't know. What do you guys think about Elden Ring?